Hi everyone. I want to spend time in this video talking about ice, specifically using it to help you with your pain. And also I want to talk a bit about the reusable ice packs. I want to first start with a short story. Back in 2009 and 2010, an occupational therapist was hired for me to help me get back living in this house. That summer, I had an unsuccessful surgery on both of my hip joints, and a few months later, it found me in a wheelchair. So the occupational therapist was to provide the logistics needed for me to be able to live, in this environment, and to help me deal with the pain that I was experiencing and am experiencing in my hips and knees. She gave me a really useful tip. She suggested I take one of these ice trays and empty all the ice cubes into a Ziploc bag, and then to fill the Ziploc bag with water and finally seal it, then put the whole thing into a second Ziploc bag, wrap it in a towel, and use this for between 10 and 15 minutes on my joints when it would be helpful. What the occupational therapist said to me was that the ice in water makes the right temperature that interferes with and will end a pain cycle dead in its track. In other words, using this brings out an ideal temperature that the body stops sending the messages to your brain that it's hurting. So, anyone can reasonably afford these. I've seen these for sale at dollar stores. You could also buy these online and have them shipped directly to your home for a nominal amount if you wait 6 weeks from an Asian country. There's lots of options available that money shouldn't be prohibitively expensive for you. Now, there's the other option, and it's using a reusable ice pack. So I've just bought a number of these for another project I'm working on. Now, what arrived here was just this shell of the reusable ice pack. There's a few options for filling these. I'm going to share two of them with you. The inexpensive option would be to fill it with water up to about here and then put in about 3 tablespoons of salt. Then you'd have to give it a really good shake so that the salt will dissolve in the water, and that will work for you. Salt water has a lower freezing point than just water alone. And so for most freezers, it won't crack under the stress of putting it in the freezer and taking it out and in and out. There is an alternative option that's much more expensive, and the reason why many of the reusable ice packs cost so much. It is to use medical grade rubbing alcohol. I'm not talking about the rubbing alcohol you'd find at a dollar store. The medical grade alcohol is going to be 95% or higher in its purity. It has a much lower freezing point, and so it's going to remain a liquid and it won't stress the plastic. There are a few caveats with this. It can and will catch fire if you're careless. You need to remember that it is alcohol based and alcohol burns. You don't want to hurt yourself and be foolish around these type of items. I would also highly suggest that you use a funnel when you're filling the lid. So you'd remove the cap here, put your funnel on it, and then within the funnel, you'd pour your water or pour your alcohol, medical grade rubbing alcohol into it. I'm just going to show you in this clip what I did for mine. These came with some salt already inside of it, so I wanted to get rid of the salt. Then for my bigger project I'm working on, I wanted it to be easily identifiable if one of them was leaking, so I put in a bottle of blue food dye. Then I poured in the whole bottle of the alcohol, and although I didn't videotape myself doing this, I used plumber's Teflon tape to add a little bit of extra sealant, going around 4 times, and then finally put the cap on. You technically don't need that step, and it's why I didn't include it in the filming, but I'm making a robust cooling fan system for myself, and the extra bit of effort for this is worth it to me. So I've given you a few options to think about. There's lots of research done in using ice for therapy. Talk to your doctor or nurse, and I'm sure you'll get what you're needing. Thanks so much for this time that you've spent with me today. Bye for now.